Welcome to Self-Perfected.
Thank you. There we go.
Hey, people. Do you like our new update?
What's the new update? Tell us.
I'm going to keep it a mystery.
This shit again.
But you're welcome to guess in the comments.
Sorry to keep everybody waiting in the live. Who I know all of you are just
Lined up, basically.
lined up. Yes, lined up for
like
a,
at,
for
like
a
out of
video.
Bucky's to get some fried chicken or
Jeez,
whatever.
you're just
they-
jumping right into it. Let's dedicate today's episode to consumerism.
Ooh.
Okay. All right.
Talk about all the consumerist things. Actually, I'm saying that because Katie was like, you should talk about, she was like, what are you gonna talk about today? And I was like, I don't know. And she was like, we should talk about the Barbie movie. And I was like, let's talk about the Barbie movie. I was talking about the fucking Barbie movie, and she's like, well, that's why you should talk about it. I'm like, what is there to talk about? But she was making some really cool points about it. All right. So
What were the points she was making? I want to hear these points.
well, one of them was the point of, and I've noticed this too. Okay, when you first heard about there was going to be a Barbie movie, can you remember where you were now? Were all of you like aware of it before it came out?
I think I heard once that there'd be a
Okay,
Barbie.
at some level you probably heard about there's a
Yeah.
Barbie movie coming out at some point. right?
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling
Like-
was Ken.
Well, Christine went into the IMDb, like she was like, oh, I know the executive producer. I know this.
Christine went to the original showing at the red carpet.
Yeah. No, but like when you first heard about it, or even if you didn't, assume that you heard about it for the first time, what are you assuming the movie's going to be?
I'm assuming that it's going to
Stupid.
be, stupid.
Super
And
cheesy.
yeah, very just like a
But,
animated,
who's the target audience?
like for kids, obviously.
I'm
Like
thinking though,
whoever
like,
goes to a
people that
Taylor
were
Swift concert. will go to
My
that.
like our demographic who grew up with Barbies.
Okay.
Or like
Oh.
millennials and stuff.
Okay.
kind of
But
like
I
a
would think you have to
nostalgic
also
point.
make it sort of like a, like
It's
Star
kids'
Wars. It was still just Star Wars, even though it was like new stuff. It was still kind of the same.
Mhm.
So my thinking was that it would just be like a kids movie, basically. But it's
Yeah.
definitely not a kids movie.
No.
Like it's not a kids movie. I mean, I'm not saying it's like rated R, but it's not it's not for kids.
Mhm.
And so, but that point you made about it's like the nostalgia of older people, they're all taking their kids to see it, and it's like being marketed to them. And I think Katie was saying there was something from like, I don't know if it was The View or something, some clip she saw where they were saying, it was Whoopi Goldberg. She was like, yeah, parents, you should take your kids to see it. Take your daughters to see it. It's a really good movie for you to take your daughters to. So like, they're like program people, take your daughters to it, take your daughters to it. And it's like, why? And then you realize the whole fucking like feminist, progressive, like
Wow.
it's the same thing they're doing in the schools.
I literally
Really?
typed in Barbie movie on Google and it changed my whole screen to pink and it was like sparkly.
I'm doing it. Everybody, if you're watching this live or not, do it. Well, actually, it's not probably gonna work if you're not doing it.
Man, isn't that crazy?
Barbie
And then
movie.
we were talking about Sound of Freedom the other week. It's
Oh,
like
yeah,
imagine
pink.
you Google Sound of Freedom and they like make it like, yeah, wow, like we need to end this problem. They're like, no, just conspiracies. That's so fucked up. But I can't
Hold
censor-
on. Okay, can I share my screen?
Yeah, hang on just a second.
I'm also kind of shocked that you can make like a movie like that. I mean, imagine a year ago when the whole Black Lives Matter was like really popular, trying to come out with a Barbie movie of like a blonde white chick.
Oh no.
As the center role.
Possible. Not possible. She'd have to be black.
What changed between now and then? Just enough like time?
No, what changed is there's like a specific cycle that is going like that is being pushed, and we're being guided into these different stages where it's like it's, if you can imagine it, it's sort of like a movie, right? Or watching a play, or here in Orlando we have Disney, right? And you go to Disney and you can watch a live play of The Lion King or The Little Mermaid or
Okay.
Indiana Jones or whatever.
Like the
right?
whole thing.
No, not the whole thing.
Hey,
It's
that
usually-
Indiana Jones one. That
you saw
one,
it, right?
as a child, and that programmed me to be obsessed with like
Archaeology.
violence.
Oh.
No violence.
Archaeology.
And
He did very little archaeology.
Did a
I
lot
never
of-
saw
a lot
once
of
he's like
fighting.
brushing bones.
Right? No, okay, so it's usually like a 20-minute, 30-minute show, something like that. And those shows, they take you through all these emotions, right? They get you like,
Okay, did you ever see the Indiana Jones one? Any of
yes,
you?
of course.
Okay, and is there like a boulder that comes across and he dodges it?
I don't remember that part. You know what part I do remember very vividly? The part where the guy takes out like the whip and like he's doing all like with sword and doing all this stuff, right? And then Indiana Jones takes out his gun and just like bam. I was like, yeah. It's my
You're
favorite.
talking about the
That's
movie or
so
the
great
live
because they
play?
literally just programmed everybody.
They did it in the live, but he also does it in the movie, right?
Take your
Yeah.
kids to it. He
That
kills
was
somebody.
That was predictive programming
Uh-huh.
for 9/11 retaliation.
Because we're going after all the
Because it was like all of the people were pre-programmed of like, oh, we'll just be able to walk right over all the Arab people and all that stuff.
there it
Like,
is.
yeah. And it made me not like Nazis.
I just vividly remember
That's a lot
there
of
was,
trauma
there was
I've had
one
to walk through.
scene. There was one scene in the live action that whatever the hell you call it, right? And it's like a boulder is coming down and he like dodges it. And I just remember being like, whoa, I thought he was gonna get crushed. And then I also remember the scene where then he shoots him, and then I was just like, my innocence was just gone after that.
I
point.
went to Universal Studios in LA, or I guess it's in LA, Hollywood, wherever it's at. And they do this like train, like, what do you call those little, it's like a train tram.
Oh, I know that ride.
It's a ride, but it's like a little train thing you sit on,
Yeah,
and you go through like, it's like you're going through like movie studios kind of, right?
yeah.
And they're all like set up. And I'm pretty sure that's one of them. It's like the boulder coming at you. I feel like that's one of them. Maybe not.
I don't know.
But I
about
do
that.
remember there's one, I feel like I've talked about this before, where it's simulating an earthquake.
Yes,
Have you
That-
done that one?
that's the one.
Anybody?
Yeah.
And like you're sitting in there and it's like, okay, there's gonna be an earthquake. All right.
And like you're outside of a gas station.
No, the one I was in, it's like you're underground.
Oh,
You're like in a subway
oh,
or under a tunnel kind of a thing.
okay, that's
And like
fucked
it's
up.
dude, it starts like shaking, it's going nuts, right? The ground breaks open. A semi truck
yes.
slides
I've been in that
down
one.
next to you.
I fucking suppressed this shit.
It explodes, and it's
I
like
gotta add
hot
this to my
fire.
Yes,
And you can
yes.
feel it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. No,
I need to make a note of this shit. I
It
really
was
expressed that, and I've been there.
insane.
you remember this, Mitchell?
I
You remember this now?
actually- real time
Yeah.
reaction video.
Yeah,
That's
That-
fucked up.
that
man.
ride was
Right.
fun.
Can I share my Barbie thing real quick?
I feel
Yeah,
like
sure.
you
I just
described
want to
like
show it everybody.
half the Universal's rides in Orlando too that do the same thing.
Well, yeah, there's a ride that specifically does that. Oh, wow. Google. I I thought you meant you went onto the Barbie website and it did that.
No, this was just in the Google search.
Okay,
Yeah.
look what happens. But what happened to it?
You stopped sharing.
Oh, look what happens if I type in Sound of Freedom.
Wait, share again.
Yeah.
Okay. That's far out. That's funny. Oh, that's good.
Also, I put this is the plot description.
So there's multiple?
from Wikipedia. What?
There's multiple Barbies.
Yeah, in the Barbie movie. I'm assuming they're all just
Bar-
like different characters.
Barbie's, I guess, not a person.
It's like a they them type thing.
They're basically NPCs. Yeah, they them.
Right.
It's like Barbie is a brand.
I had like 30 Barbies.
There's multiple
okay,
Barbies.
Mitch? Like, there was
Wow, of course, consumerism. Why would you just get one when you can have All of
And I
them.
had a Barbie house and like,
Yeah, you gotta get Malibu Barbie, you gotta get Kitchen Barbie, you gotta get, I don't know what all the other Barbies
Communist Barbie.
are. Communist Barbie.
He's like wearing like jungle camouflage.
You gotta
Has like
get,
an AK-47
yeah,
with like pink camouflage.
you gotta get a Biden Barbie that's like
Drilling on herself. Did you see Jay Shetty interviewed him apparently?
Jay Shetty interviewed Hugh.
Apparently interviewed Biden. It's like dropping Monday. I'm like,
Who's Jake
what?
Shetty?
He's
Jay
like
Shetty's like
kind of the
a-
classic. He's like a young Deepak Chopra. I was like,
exactly.
He used to be a
fucking lame.
monk.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah,
Yeah.
he did for
Oh,
several years or
oh,
something.
wow. I take back what I said. Fucking.
No, I think your description was pretty
He's
accurate.
the old.
young,
He's the old guard.
he's the young Deepak Chopra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, did you read this? Matriarchal society. So it says it right in the description. Like it is a feminist dominated society that they portray in the Barbie movie. And then the Ken dolls don't even work. They're just playing like
At the beach.
yeah, playing at the beach, doing recreational activities, and all the important jobs of the Barbies are doing, which are the doctors, lawyers, politicians. This is
What?
hilarious.
The
Till
what?
AI comes in.
So they're like trying to make it like a specific flip of like, yeah, women are now, they can do all the things that men do. They are
It's
men.
like blatant.
Yeah, and then the men, they just go and play with their friends. They don't do
It's like
anything.
what is the next generation of that?
And I like how it's
babies.
like Beach Ken is only happy when he's with Barbie. What? So are they saying like in general women are only happy when they're with men? Is that what they're implying? Because this is supposed to be the flip, right?
Hold on. Here's all the. This isn't all of them, but this is the list of Barbies. Maybe it's all of them.
Oh
Weird
shit!
Barbie, President Barbie.
Weird, yeah. Stereotypical. That's Margot Robbie. Weird Barbie,
The
president,
whole time I was just thinking it was the
writer,
one.
physicist, doctor. Now, what I'd heard was that the doctor is transgender, and if I scroll over here, look, this
Oh,
actress was in Transparent, which was a movie about trans people. So that kind of confirms that. Is this
As
a
doctor, she's the doctor.
she made her runway debut.
openly transgender woman?
Hmm.
So
Okay.
please don't punish me, YouTube. It's a man. So they got a trans person playing the doctor Barbie.
Mm.
There's a lawyer Barbie, a judge Barbie, journalist, mermaid, diplomat, Barbie video girl, Teen Talk Barbie, Proust Barbie.
Proust. What is
Okay.
Proust?
That's kind of random.
There's got to be some.
Then
Here's
all
the
different
Ken.
Kens.
What do you say?
Tourist, basketball, the stereotypical, another one, I guess. Ken is Beach Ken, that's Ryan Gosling. Mermaid, sugar daddy, earring magic Ken. His dad. Oh, look, it's basically the
Oh my
gay
God,
Ken.
that's the old packaging.
It's the gay Ken.
The gay Ken. That's hilarious.
They were trying to make him look cooler, but everyone just thought he was gay. But I mean, if this isn't obvious, look at the women Barbies and then the male.
And Will Ferrell as the CEO of Mattel. That's hilarious.
No.
See, that's the part that would make me want to watch
Oh.
it. Not that I'm gonna watch it, but
Right.
it'd be like, oh, it's Will Ferrell. Okay, maybe it's actually pretty funny or something. You know, they try to get everybody in there.
Well, they got John Cena in there. Nice.
So
Yeah.
Sarah.
you can see the programming. So when they're saying like, oh, you should take your kids to watch it, you should take your daughters to watch it. It's a good movie for your daughters. It's like,
No. You know what's
Really?
funny? What's funny is that they made it where they made it that everything's flipped. Women run everything. And then they also included a trans woman, which is like, it's like, okay. And then so you added this guy back in there. So you can sneak back in, guys.
My question would be, why wouldn't all of them be trans?
Yeah, that's a
Or
great
50-50,
question.
or why wouldn't a lot of them be trans?
That's a great question.
What if there were no women, there were only trans women? You should ask a feminist that. Like, would it be okay if there were no biological women and just trans women? Wouldn't that be better, actually?
Well, trans women
Wouldn't that
are
be
women.
braver? Wouldn't that be a braver new world?
Yeah, because trans women are women.
Oh, isn't that crazy? Brave New World, and like how the big catchword for all that those people is like, you're very brave.
Oh yeah. Oh. Oh.
I think I just discovered something.
That's why they're
time.
brave,
Real
because they
time.
want to bring in this brave new world. Got to be brave to bring in this new world.
Order.
You know, you might be like, well, but what's wrong with your daughter seeing like them, role models as doctors and lawyers and all that stuff? And I mean, we could talk about that, but also, why does it have to be at the expense of men? Why does it have to be like women are all this great stuff and men have to also be nothing at the same time?
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's
Yeah.
how it's been for us. I'm like,
oh
so
man.
you're admitting that you just want to flip the tables and like oppress men then.
So apparently, this is a few days ago,
Okay.
maybe like a week ago. Apparently, Kamala Harris sent out some sort of a tweet or something about, specifically about Florida laws, how we have a law here that like, and it's been a law for a while, that you have to teach slavery in schools, right? But everyone says like, oh, Florida's like banning books about slavery and all this stuff, right? Because specifically the books that are banned are like the CRT books, right? But Kamala Harris made a tweet about what was it? Something about slavery. Oh, how in the books in Florida, yeah, they teach you about slavery, but in the books in Florida, what it says is that slavery is actually was actually beneficial for some slaves. That's what they're teaching kids in Florida. They're teaching that slavery was actually beneficial for some slaves. And just like, can you believe this? This are like Republican red whatever shit. Like this is what they're brainwashing your kids with, right? And so then they actually went through and looked at, okay, well, what are they actually saying in these books in Florida, right? And they looked through and there's like over 200 mentions or around 200 mentions of the word slavery. And then it talks about not just slavery in the US, but slavery in other countries and how other people were used as slaves in like Europe and, all around the world, and how slavery has just been a part of kind of society for the longest time. And yes, we did it here, but it also happened with other races. Basically, everyone's been a part of slavery, right? And it's really interesting because on the board of who wrote this curriculum are like these PhD African American studies, like Black people, right? It's like, yeah, no, we wrote, and if you go into these like PhDs, like you go into like their Twitter history or whatever, which by the way, Twitter is history. Everything about Twitter is history now. But if you go into their history, they say things like
American History X.
Oh, look at that.
American
Twitter is called
X
X now,
history.
if you didn't know.
Just real quick, just because I said this off the podcast, I got to say it. Do you know why they called it X? Because Elon Musk has a lot of X's.
Oh gosh.
All right.
Oh gosh.
Okay, go ahead. It was better when I said it before, but whatever.
So anyway, yeah, basically you go into these people's histories and they're not with the woke BS. Like they're blatantly against it, and they're like, this is not like what you're calling racism is actually what you're putting on people is racism, like to make them believe that they're lesser than or whatever, or they're being suppressed in some way just based on the color of their skin. That is like keeping the racism still alive today, essentially. So that I thought that was really interesting because I was watching somebody make a comment on it, And their comment was, if I were to go to your child, regardless of what skin color they are, if I went to your child and I told them, you can't do things today because there are people out there that are holding you back because of your skin color. And so you'll never actually get to achieve anything. And so, just whatever, like, don't worry about it. That's the way life is. You would have a problem with that. Like, or at least you should have a problem with that. Right. And I'll speak for like growing up for myself in the Black community, that was pretty normal. That was par for the course, where adults would say those types of things to.
Oh, like you would be told that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty par for the course. You'd just be told, like, yeah, you can't do things because of your color of your skin.
It's like you're getting ready for school. It's like, did you get your backpack? Yep. Do you have your lunchbox? Yep. Are people going to oppress you because of the color of your skin today? Yep. Okay, bye. Have fun.
Pretty much.
Like a checklist.
Pretty much. Like you would hear it all the time. And I guess I was bringing that up because it makes such an impression on you that you actually go through your life believing that. And so, if you bring your child to watch a movie like this, even if it's not like somebody saying explicitly to your child, because a lot of the times it would be adults talking to other adults about it. Oh, because I got a DWV, right? I got pulled over the other day. I got a DWV. What's that? Oh, driving while black. Like, right?
I thought you said V.
DWV.
Yeah. I was like DWV. And I was like,
yeah. Well, in Spanish, B's and V's are pretty much the same.
True.
Thing. Yeah.
I'm black.
That sounds cute. That was good one.
Yeah.
but yeah, those things make a huge impression on a child. And it's like you don't even. What I was saying to Christine over the weekend.
And if it doesn't, why is it in the movie? Isn't that the point of it? Like, that's why you should take your daughters to see it, because it will have an impression.
Right. I was telling Christine about this the other day of like, I remember asking my mom, when am I going to go through puberty? And like I need to go through puberty now. Like having that feeling of like, I need to go through puberty. All my friends are going through puberty. Like, when am I going to go through puberty? Right.
Because it was being like talked about, or what?
Well, here's the thing, right? Like I remember saying this to my mom, and then she was like, her response to it was like, "Oh, call your dad. Maybe he has an answer for you. Like, call your dad and ask him, and like maybe he can tell you like when he went. I don't know." But like, my question to Christine was like, "Well, why wasn't the first response like what you said of like, well, are you like people talking about this in school? Like, are you learning about puberty in school? Like, what is this? Like, where are you getting this thought?" Because like, it was just an all-consuming thought all of a sudden. I'm just like, and like, where would I have gotten that from? Like, it wasn't like, if you don't know about it, how are you supposed to all of a sudden have this thought of like, I need to be a man. I need to like my penis needs to grow and like get some hairs and all like what's going on?
It's all just words. It's like you get the same thing with like this movie, all of that. It's words, it's language that's exposing you to certain ideas, like with the book example, right? It's like everyone's just fighting about words. Isn't that fascinating? It's like over the last few years, everything has shifted towards people being hyper aware of like all the words that are being used and realizing this. I mean, not that it hasn't been known all along, but the power of words to shape people's mentality, like attitudes, beliefs, everything. Just words. I mean, that's the whole point of having the movies, so you can get your words in front of a lot of people. Because if there was no words, it wouldn't really work, would it?
How could you have with no
people
words?
say like a picture's worth 1,000 words, try to downplay the word point, but it's like, okay, would you want to watch a movie with no words? And like literally it's just pictures, and they can make the pictures however they want.
Right. But even that is a form of words.
Obviously, yes, but people sometimes have a hard time processing that.
Right.
Well, and now it's easier with social media. You know what I mean? Like before it was just television or a newspaper. And so there was like a delay in how you could impulse people with words, where now it's like you just freaking open up your phone and you're just like bam, 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 bam. Like,
True.
like for example, when when George Floyd died and then all the black squares were like
Mhm.
that where people were posting, like as soon as I saw that, I was like, what the fuck is happening? Like this is so weird. So it's just now like so accelerated that it's creating this like division though that's even more like like it's like a more than just like a red versus blue. Now you have like these people over here, these people over here, like everyone is just like so divided now
Yeah.
based on the words that you identify with,
Yeah. Yeah. And even people might say like, oh, memes, but what about memes? Memes are so powerful, right? But imagine memes without words. And like even the memes that don't have a word, there's like a context to it that it came from that you understand. That's why it means something to you.
I had to tell I had to tell one of my friends like the word meme was coined I think in like the 70s or something like that. And he was like, what?
It's a Richard Dawkins book, I think.
Is it Richard
I
Dawkins?
think
Yeah,
so.
okay.
I think
He
came
was
up
like,
with it.
how the internet wasn't even really around like it is today. How is
They
that
think a
word?
meme is just a picture.
It's just a picture on the internet. That's what a meme is. But like, no, meme is like okay is a meme, actually. I think we talked about this long ago.
Probably.
But the word okay is a meme from Harvard, like in the 1800s, where the Harvard, I don't know, classmates, whatever, thought it would be funny to just use two letters to symbolize all correct, and they used O and K because all kind of sounds like it would start with an O and correct with a K. And it's like that's the joke. That's the meme. And then everybody started saying okay. And okay became okay, it's okay, it's fine, like everything's okay, all correct. Yeah.
So there you go.
Memes.
okay, all
Memes.
correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like
OLLK.
yeah.
I thought it was because they were super like racist back then in Harvard. Like they didn't want anybody who wasn't white. So they would like post pictures like us, like okay, mean like only Klan members.
Who
Yeah.
knows? They're like rewriting the histories and stuff nowadays. Yeah, it was from Richard Dawkins in his 1976 book, The Selfish Gene.
See? Boom.
It's a neologism. Oh,
Do you think there's a social media for Klan members called Only Clans?
okay.
Funny.
Neologism.
Maybe you
That-
could
It's like
find
when you
out.
make up a new word.
Yeah. What a good word to have. It's like literally all.
It's literally Neo and Logos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's like what all of this stuff is in the like NPC.
Yeah.
That's like a power to have that. Or there's another word called wordsmith. I love that word. It's where you like create words. You like put
Somebody
words together.
that is also a neologism.
Yes.
Ding.
But isn't that power? I mean, look at what the woke mob is doing. Even woke is a neologism. But it's like that's like the manufacturing. But then it's done from the starting point, really, of the problem reaction solution paradigm.
Yeah.
As opposed to the problem solution reward paradigm.
Hmm.
Man, let's get really good at neologism.
There's
Katie
a
was telling, oh, sorry, go ahead, Drake.
I was just gonna say on the neologism point, like you ever read that book? What's that Viktor Frankl book?
Man's
Man's
Search for Meaning.
Yeah, that one. You ever read that one? It's pretty good.
I've had like freaking 15 people tell me to read that book and I still haven't yet.
Yeah, you just skip the first half. The first half is like, talking about concentration camps. not really the part of the book where you're like, oh, I get it. It gives context, so it's like anyway. The second half of the book, he talks about like logotherapy, right? Where it's like not psychotherapy, but like beyond psychotherapy, where like I guess at that time psychotherapy was really about trying to get you to align with society and those sorts of things, right? And then he talks about logotherapy and how with logotherapy, one of the main points that he makes is getting you to understand your own meaning, right? Instead of trying to align with like, well, yeah, you should feel this way because society feels this way, or because your parents wanted you to feel this way, or whatever. Like actually looking at, well, does that even make sense for you to continue doing like just a complete paradigm shift with but I thought it was interesting because logotherapy, logos also word, right? And we do a sort of, it could be referred to as a logotherapy. It's not logotherapy, but it's the breaking down and understanding of your own understanding, like where that comes from and how you're coming to these conclusions to then actually change the way that you're actually responding to or considering your current environment, your current lifestyle. What were you going to say, Cam?
I'm actually looking something up. I was trying to find something that Katie was telling me about. I couldn't
Just
find it.
on that point, right? Because you're talking about logotherapy versus psychotherapy. I was like, what even is the root of the word therapy? It's really interesting when you click through on Wiktionary, you get to the point where it comes from the root treb. So like therapy is like TREB. You have to like really click through, and it means a settlement or a dwelling. So it's like, how are you dwelling, basically?
Ooh,
Isn't that interesting?
yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
I see how the logotherapy though, if it's not aligned to what's best, it just, that's like what just turns into this whole shit show anyway.
Well,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
like all of it is a form of logotherapy. Like, ooh, like, like the whole Barbie movie is a form of logotherapy.
Well, the way that they describe logotherapy on Google, if you just search it, it's like basically based on the belief that the search for meaning, even amidst misery, can constitute a potential solution to human suffering. But then it goes on and says, meaning can be found by creating a work, loving someone, or adopting a modified attitude toward inevitable suffering. It's like, that's not real meaning. That's like, I mean, I guess you could call that meaning, but that's like, you're still operating within the confines of the limitations of the starting point of survival.
Right. It's like old system meaning, which is
It's like a
bullshit.
coping mechanism towards meaning.
A what
It's like
mechanism?
coping.
Oh, you made it up.
That's a neologism I made up. I named it after myself.
it's a Cameron mechanism.
That's how Cameron, yeah, that's how Cameron's giving meaning to his world.
But you know what I mean, though? It's like I got to find some meaning in this.
Yeah.
And it's really just like, like you said, you're trying to survive within it.
Yeah, exactly. We actually have meaning. We don't have to find meaning. We actually have it. It's here. And
yeah, fuck Viktor Frankl's search for meaning. The search is over, buddy.
the search is over. Anyway, somebody should tell him. I think he's dead.
Somebody should tell him.
But yeah, no, like seriously, the search is over. You don't have to search for meaning. We have meaning, and it's like actual purpose in your life, and it actually does if you take it seriously. Ooh, let me tell you this. So Christine and Abel went to the bookstore like, I don't know, 2 days ago, and while they were there, Abel found this book series called The Life and Teachings of Masters of the Far East, right?
Yeah.
Which is referenced in one of the audios, one of the Bernard audios. And then he brought it with him to the beach. We were hanging out with him at the beach yesterday, him and his new wife. Congratulations to you guys. Anyway.
Thank you.
Not to you.
I just accept it on their behalf.
Okay. All right. But yeah, he brought it to the beach. He opened up to a page and he started reading. And what he read was basically, there was a story, like the story before what he was trying to get to was about like John the Baptist And they're like, oh, we traveled here, and it seemed pretty evident that John the Baptist had traveled through this area, and there were, all these records. We went through these records and these records, and it matches the story of John the Baptist. But he was talking about how they were going through these different towns and meeting with these masters. And the reason why they were doing that was because the people that he was traveling with wanted some sort of healing. They were trying to be healed in some sort of way. And
this was the people writing the book.
Yeah.
They were traveling.
Yeah. To different towns in like Tibet and stuff like that.
Right.
And John the Baptist went through Tibet, just to be clear. Is that
apparently, according to this guy, he's like, there's evidence of it. Anyway. So he says, as
published in the 1920s, by the way.
Yeah.
Just so everybody knows.
As they were going through these towns and meeting with these masters, he said the people that he was traveling with, they got the healing that they were looking for. And while he was in the towns, he was asking the masters, like, is this typical? Is this typical that, people will convert to, I don't know why he called it a convert. I don't have the context for all of that, but he was like, people will convert to this lifestyle or whatever. And the master said, well, what generally happens is people will come here, they'll get healing, and they'll be here for a while. But we notice that what often happens is they will revert back to their old lifestyles because they can't keep it up being here in earnest. Right. And what he was sharing was that these different masters were sharing.
It's the Tony Robbins effect.
Yes. But he was saying that these different masters were sharing all their secrets with everyone and saying, basically, you could be like me. But the problem was that everyone would start doing whatever, like they would start acting like the masters. They would take this on, and then they're like, I can't fucking do this. This is too much, because there was a lot of responsibility that they had to take on, and it was too hard for them to just completely shift into just being like this, like within themselves.
They couldn't change their programming.
Right. And the other thing was that they kept coming back for help. And so what he was saying was like, they'll do it as long as there's somebody else here who will do it with them and but if they had to take on the responsibility for themselves, they would all fade away. That's what the masters were saying. And it was interesting because you think about it, the connection that I made to this was no one else can do it for you, right? First off, no one else can do it for you. And so we have this amazing process of self-forgiveness, the writing, the tools, everything, techno-tutor, all of it, right? We have this amazing process. But even if you give somebody, okay, do step 1, step 2, step 3, and they're just kind of going through the motions, it's not the same. You're not doing it in earnest, where you're like actually pouring through yourself going, okay, I want to change this. What is it that needs to be changed? And like, okay, I'm going to do everything that I need to do to change that. And like you fall and the shit happens, whatever. And you're like, okay, all right, whatever, I'm going to get back up. Or the person that, is supporting you or whatever, the other people around you, they go away, they die, they, move on, whatever it is. And it's like, are you still going to do this for yourself? Or are you just, because other people are doing it, because this person helped me, because I know he can do it, he's really the one. And, you're putting all that responsibility on them, right? That's like the point of, you go back to your old lifestyle because you're not doing it in earnest. You're not actually taking on the responsibility yourself. And then even in one of the eQual audios, what was said was like through the portal is like, listen, you can get all this information through the portal, but like we can't do it for you. You actually have to change for yourself, and at most you're gonna get like 22%. I'm just throwing out a random number, but I'm pretty sure I was close to that. Like 22% help from the other dimensions or whatever, right? But the other 78%, you got to do it. That's you. That's all on you. meaning you have to take this on. Actually, you can't just wait like, oh, I'm going to hear some secret and it's going to just change everything for me. No.
Right. That's like the point of self-realization. Is it's not something doing it to you. It's like, imagine you want to walk up a mountain and the physical effort, and like, oh, you get to the point where you're like quarter of the way up, you want to quit, you don't want to keep going, you're tired, you know what I mean? Like you get part of the way there, it's like it's getting harder, you don't want to do it, but you keep pushing yourself, versus what everybody wants is a little cable car to just come pick them up, they get in and it goes up. But that cable car doesn't exist. It doesn't exist because the whole point is when you get to the top of the mountain, there's another mountain that we all have to climb where the cable car can't go. Because, you know, it's like, it's not even that there's another mountain. It's like, you need all that, the strength that you've developed to create something on top of the mountain. How about that? That doesn't exist. So we're all going up there. Tricks. You got to sing that now.
It's the clown.
But you know what I mean? It's like the whole point is to get to the top and to have the strength and the ability and the self-will and all that to then do what needs to be done there. Because everyone who made it to the top is like, all right, we all know we can trust each other. Like we've been able to push through all these points and so forth, right? And so with a person who gets to the top, who just went through like the car, they get to the top and they just sit there like, all right, what are you guys going to make for me?
Yeah.
And that's the problem. That's the whole point of like why, if there's any point, you know, people will react like when we talk about there's no God or something. And because there's like this idea that if you turn away from God, you're turning your back on reality or something. You're turning your back on being a good person, or like you just want to be evil. And like that's not obviously the point we're talking about. It's just the idea that at some level we expect God to do things for us. And I mean, look, there's some things we can't do. Like I'm not going to make the sun come up. Okay, but that already happens. I don't need to worry about that. Do you know what I mean? So if you want to call that God, okay. I'm not saying like, oh, there's no God. Like I make the sun come up. Like, come on, like that's stupid. That already happens whether I participate in it or not. But what do I participate in? That's the question. All right, and that's the part where it's like, okay, if you want to attribute to God all the things that you physically actually don't do in this world, fine, but don't use it as an excuse to not change the system, to be like, oh, well, God will take care of that. It's like, yeah, God will take care of the war in Ukraine. You know, something like that, where it's like, what? Or God will take care of poverty. Well, God's not creating poverty. Well, it's because we turn away from God. Well, what does that mean?
But in reality, it's we turn away from life.
Right. But it's like, okay, so if it's because I don't agree that there's a God, like I turn away from him, therefore there's poverty, or is it because I don't care about it to do anything about it? And do you need God to be able to do something about it? Because if you do, like, think about it. If we need God, we're screwed. Because there's a lot of people who are never going to accept that. It's like saying, if you're not a Republican, we're all fucked. Well, that's what the Democrats think. It can't be either one. It has to be common sense. It has to be like, okay, what's the actual starting point of best for everybody? That's where we have to come to in politics. And like, there's no discussion of that. Seriously, politics is just no different than the Barbie movie. It's the same shit.
Yeah, I was just
In its
thinking
current
too-
form, yeah.
I was just thinking too, like, because I read this blog, I just linked it in the chat. It's Thank God for the System, and it's basically Bernard talking about how there was a power outage and like all these things, like this storm destroyed a bunch of stuff. So it's like, okay, is it God who's coming to like fix the electricity, to like fix, you know, to clear all the debris and all this kind of stuff? It's like, no, it's your fellow human, you know what I mean?
Right.
People are coming to help and aid in the whole thing. And it's just funny because I remember distinctly when I moved out of my parents' house, and you know, having to like, you know, you have an apartment now and you have to like maintain things, you have to cook for yourself, all these different things. And like, as you know, you're living in somewhere, it's like your place gets messy, your bed's unmade. And then coming to the realization that like, oh, if I don't make my bed, like it'll never be made. And that was like a huge, like for some reason that kind of hit me for some reason, because my mom like did so much for us. Like, and not that I was like a lazy person per se, but she just like did everything at our house. So when I then moved out, it was like, oh shit, like mom's not here. So if I don't do it, like no one else will. And it's like almost kind of coming out of the spell that you put yourself under, that like something magically just like fixes everything. Meanwhile, it was literally just my mom, you know, being that person to like come and clean up and like do the dishes and clean and like make our beds and all that kind of stuff. But it's like we are so disconnected from like just the way that physical reality actually works. It's like if I don't do it, it won't get done. So whether it be like making my bed or cleaning my room or making myself a meal or fixing something like poverty, it's like literally within the responsibility of like an individual human. And then for something like as big as poverty, it's like a group of people then that can actually make the system to change that. But again, it's like we disconnect that part to like, oh, it's like it's going to be God's work, but it's like, hello, like if you just take it down to your own life, if you don't do it, no one else will. So anyway,
Yeah, that's a good point. Like that's actually something we're working with the kids on now with Max and Seneca, is like every day, not only just getting up and making sure they do their techno tutor, but like then going out, like when we feed the animals, now the kids come with us, right? When Katie milks the cow, like they go out there. And then in the evening when we feed the animals, the kids come with us. And then lately what we've done is we've turned it into a point where, okay, we all go out together, we feed the animals, which just doesn't really take that much. And then we jump on the trampoline or, you know, play, or we do like, you know, we ride around on the ATV or something. Like, so we make it like, then it's not like a reward. It's just, we're all out there together. Right. And so that's even at 4.5 and 6.5, we're introducing into those points of understanding, like when we're done with dinner, everybody has to take their individual plates and stuff to the kitchen counter, you know, things like that. And the kids help with like doing the dishes, cleaning up in the evening, like when they have all their toys everywhere, like we all have to clean everything up, you know. So, and it's been a cool process to start developing that point with them, you know, to understand that. And like one of the things that parents do that undermine it is, well, it's not to say that there aren't parents who, well, I was going to say they undermine it by like Santa Claus and stuff like that and Tooth Fairy. People might say, well, but there's people who have Santa Claus, but their kids are still very disciplined. But that's more like from a point of like a forced discipline, like a punishment reward type thing. And so the point about the Santa Claus point undermining it is, it's more like the long term. It's like you have this program within you that something's going to magically reward you, you know. And so it's hard for people to make that connection. And even if they do, it's just out of survival. You know, like, oh, well, if I don't make money, then no one's going to make it for me. But you don't really go beyond that, because we've been programmed through school and everything to think like employees and so forth. And so, and then even the people who think like business people, it's like they're not thinking about the whole big picture. It's not to criticize any one individual person. It's just there's no system to teach us all of this. You know, because like, why isn't God teaching everybody that? Why isn't God teaching everybody, hey, here's how you actually should be a person that takes responsibility for this world?
If there were a God, he'd be a terrible parent.
It's like if you compare the Bible, because they say it's the instruction manual, right? If you compare that to, it's like an IKEA instruction manual is more coherent and easy to follow than this one.
Right.
A math textbook. Okay, you know, it would be like a really, you know, like you ever done like Legos?
Yeah.
Like they're pretty clear, I would say. Like they're pretty easy to follow, right? Why isn't it spelled out like that?
Right. Well, because it's only for those who want to hear. Okay.
You know?
It's,
and I mean,
why,
there's also the point like that you were making earlier, which is like, if you look at the Destiny material, somebody could say the same criticism about that, right? So there is a point of, you don't just want to copy it. Like if you just give it out 100%, the person just copies it, they're not doing it in earnest, right? But the problem is, if you look at something like the Bible, how many different ways of interpreting it are there? So the one thing you have to say about the destiny point is that it's not, there's no equivocating. If you listen to this video, if you listen to this video, if you listen to this, any video, whatever, or audio, or it's all coming from the same point. It's all saying essentially the same. I mean, I say essentially, it is essentially all saying the same thing in different ways, but it's saying the same thing. If you read the first book of the Bible and you read some random book in the New Testament, there doesn't seem to be any relationship whatsoever. You have to be some kind of like medieval Latin, Greek, ancient Aramaic language scholar to fucking be like, well, but the tradition and law that was set up here was fulfilled in this chapter from this one word Jesus said. And you're like, what? Like, you know what's easier to understand than the Bible and put together the timelines is the movie Primer. If you haven't watched the movie Primer, go watch the movie Primer. Have we talked about that before? I'm sure we have, right?
I know that apparently that was your favorite movie, but I haven't watched it.
We'll watch it.
After
We'll
Brazil.
put it on our list.
I'm gonna show you guys real quick something.
Okay.
Cameron needs
Christine,
to do reaction videos to Primer.
Add that to
That'd be
our
really funny.
our movie list.
I thought for sure everybody had seen it.
Nope, never seen it.
Look, I'll just show you this real quick. This is somebody trying to map out the actual timeline of the movie during 1 week, trying to understand what the hell actually happened in the movie. Okay. So if anybody wants to watch that movie, it's actually a pretty cool movie. Right. It's like a time travel movie. Right. It's very complex. It's very complex.
Don't
right?
give too much. We're gonna watch it.
No, I'm not. But I'm just saying, like, it's worth it. But my point is that's easier to understand. Right.
Easier to understand than Interstellar.
Interstellar is nothing.
Yeah. Okay.
It just had a cool soundtrack.
Great.
He's his own future and past. Come on. It's not that hard.
Yeah, obviously. It's great though.
Hey, but you want to know what's even
Beautiful
better
movie.
than that? Inception. Inception's really good. Have you all seen Inception?
Yeah, but I
Yes.
thought Interstellar was better than Inception.
Really?
All of these movies are but
Kindergarten.
appetizer.
compared to-
Yes, are preschool. Okay,
All right.
preschool. I would
Yes.
say if you want to start scratching the surface of complexity, watch Memento.
Oh, I did not like that one. That was pre-TT, so I didn't comprehend shit.
I didn't watch that at all.
There's like pre-TT and post-TT.
Which movie did you say?
Memento.
Post level 1 and TT. Also.
Memento.
Oh, I saw that one for like
Did you like it?
psychology. I liked it.
It's about a guy whose wife was killed, I think, and he was also injured, I think, and couldn't remember things past like 7 minutes. So he had to like make notes, and the really important things that he discovered, he was trying to solve the mystery, he would like tattoo on his body. And so variously in the movie, people will be aware of his condition and try to take advantage of him, and he has to try to keep on top of like what's actually the truth and what he's been manipulated to believe and so forth. And because he can't, every 7 minutes he like starts over, like, oh, where am I? Okay, who am I? What am I doing? Why am I here? Okay, what is this? So it's a really cool movie. You haven't seen it?
Sounds stressful. Fuck.
No, I've never seen it.
It's an interesting movie. It's got Guy Ritchie in it. He's pretty cool. He was also in The Time
Oh.
Machine, which is also a pretty cool movie.
Guy Ritchie. Is
that
that
his
the
name?
comedian?
I might have the name wrong.
Is that the
Is it
comedian?
Guy Ritchie?
No, that's not a comedian. That's a different guy. I know who you're talking about, Guy Ritchie.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, Guy Ritchie. That's right.
All right. You know I'm bad with actors.
Guy Harvey, Guy Pierce, Guy Pierce.
You know, he's the guy. Okay,
I'm
David
just throwing out
Hasselhoff.
guy names, and they're all real people. Guy Pierce is an actual actor. Who's that?
David Hasselhoff.
What does he do?
He's the guy. He's the guy who's in like. Oh man, this is. What?
Oh wait, you want to know what's funny? Guy Pierce is actually the guy from Memento, not Guy Ritchie. It's
What?
Guy Pierce. Yeah, I was wrong. He's
Imagine your
Memento is
name.
Guy
Imagine.
Pierce.
Okay. Imagine
What?
having a
It's not Guy
baby.
Ritchie. Guy Ritchie's like a director.
Guy
I just
Imagine-
that was like a famous name.
Naming
Guy
your
Pearce.
baby Guy.
That's hilarious.
Can you imagine that? Isn't that so
like,
funny?
What's up, guy?
Hey, Guy. It's like, oh,
Come on, Guy.
Guy's so cute.
I love
Actually,
this little guy. It'd be like, I love this little guy.
It was written by Christopher or directed by Christopher Nolan. who did
Memento?
Interstellar. Yep. Inception.
Drake.
So,
Oh, okay. So I like this.
It's a cool movie. Yeah.
Christopher Nolan, isn't that the guy from Batman?
It's also got Trinity in it. Christopher Nolan's Interstellar.
yeah,
But he's
and
Batman.
And Batman too.
But
No,
he's
I think it was
No.
Christian Bale as Batman.
oh,
He-
yeah, you're right.
He directed the movie though.
But Christopher Nolan directed it.
Yeah.
I
Is
thought
he the
But
Oppenheimer?
you thought the guy who acted in Batman also made the movie Interstellar.
The Dark Knight.
This thought actually entered your mind.
Hey, listen.
Hang on.
The guy who acted.
No, Guy is the guy from Memento.
The guy who acted in what's that movie?
Christopher Nolan.
Braveheart. Braveheart.
Mel
Mel
Gibson.
Gibson.
Also directed the movie about Jesus Christ. Okay.
Yes, Mel Gibson
Yeah.
is a rare exception.
Wow.
He is
Yeah.
also a director. You're right. I'll give
Yeah.
you that one. You got us.
I'm
on
sure
that.
there are other actor directors out there. You know, I'm sure he's not the only one. Super sleep.
But also,
Cameron.
you know what Christopher Nolan also made?
What?
Oppenheimer.
Oh.
And 28 Days Later. Ooh.
Oh.
Fucking pre-programming.
So why is Barbie and Oppenheimer competing with each other for views? It's weird,
Okay.
right?
Listen, did you know that Clint Eastwood was also a director?
Yes.
Okay. See?
Yes.
And apparently Robert De Niro and Ben Stiller. See, it's not so far-fetched to
No,
think
it's
that an
not.
actor
It's not.
could be a director.
What do you think it actually takes to become one of these like big directors?
Did you think that Peter Jackson was actually the guy who played the Hobbit?
I don't even know who Peter Jackson is.
The director for Lord of the Rings.
I don't know. Is he one of the Jackson Five?
Yes. He also sang that ABC song.
I knew it. I knew it.
Like, what has to go through your mind to become a Hollywood director?
To become a hobbit?
Well, I mean, you probably just
you gotta
pre-programmed
think
for it.
small thoughts. No, I think to be a Hollywood director. Oh, wait. Okay.
What does Hollywood even mean anymore?
It's a tree. It's a plant.
Because do people even have to be in Hollywood anymore? Like,
No, you
make
probably just do it
movies?
from China.
But it's just like a word that we use, like Hollywood.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like a brand. But how
It's
many
not even a
movies are actually
brand.
made in Hollywood?
Yeah, well, it is a brand, but yeah, it's more just like a.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, it's a Hollywood movie, and it's like you watch it in the theater, and literally was
It'd be like different than like a Sundance film. You know, you kind of get the essence of it. It's like going to be that typical storyline.
But don't you assume like a Hollywood movie's in the theater?
I also
Yes.
think America. Think very American stuff.
Right, but a lot of them are like made in Vancouver now.
Well, because it's cheaper apparently to film.
It's
in-
cheaper in Vancouver.
in
That is
Canada.
insane.
The fuck?
They're like, we'll give you $1 million, and they're like, sweet, like Canadian. They're like,
Oh, fuck. And it's taxed. And there's the VAT or whatever.
somebody was
It's basically completely worthless.
somebody was saying apparently there's an interview with a Hollywood exec, and like I guess this guy represents a lot of celebrities, and he says a lot of the Hollywood celebrities are actually very boring, and he says that's what makes them really good though, is that they're people that they don't have a real personality of their own, and so when you give them a script, they can really embody that person because they're not putting much of their own bias on it. It's just like they're just like I'm here, whatever, and then you give them a script and then they become that character.
they're like,
and it's like an NPC, and then you download like an AI character into it.
Literally what I was thinking. Mitch.
Exactly.
oh, did you
That's
guys
so
see that
weird.
video I sent y'all?
What video? Just send me a video.
Oh yeah, I'll show you that.
Show me
Cameron's
Let me
eyebrows
find
are
it.
so expressive.
Cameron's eyebrows.
Cameron would not be a good Hollywood actor.
The Ponzi scheme one.
Oh, maybe
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't send it to you.
Yeah,
Imagine
Maybe
us
I sent
all
it
in a
to
movie.
Drake.
How funny would that be?
Which
I
video
think I
did you
only
send
sent
to
it to Drake.
Oh, I watched the video. If you sent it to
Which
me,
one, Mr. Beast?
maybe I don't know.
Here, I'll show you. I'll show you real quick.
Oh yeah, that's this video. Yes, I
Yeah.
did watch that video.
I'll show you real quick. Check this out.
What the heck? You're not sharing sound, I don't think.
Well,
Yo, that's
maybe I should.
crazy.
Hold on. I
That
didn't
shit looks
realize I
so
wasn't
fucking
sharing.
weird.
Okay, here we go. This is gonna blow your mind.
We would get to a point like this, and this is absolutely the future of video games and honestly kind of our society. This is Replica Studios' smart NPC for Unreal Engine. So this is a demo of this new technology running in the Unreal Engine City demo, where you can speak to any AI on the street. You can actually walk up and talk to NPCs. So let's.
Is
give
this like a
go.
game?
Yeah. Well, it's
What is
a-
Unreal Engine? Is this like a metaverse?
Unreal Engine is like a graphics processing
Yeah.
environment, and basically they have a city that you can walk around. It's like a demonstrate. It's a demo, but it's like it's not a
Okay.
game. It's just an
Okay.
environment you can walk around in using Unreal Engine, and then they
Okay.
have their smart NPC technology inside of this particular.
Okay,
demo.
okay, cool.
So he's going to talk to these. These are all NPCs. They're all So he's going to talk to random people. This is like supposed to be New York.
They're like, are you
Microsoft-
vaccinated? Yes.
Microsoft and like PlayStation and Xbox, they all, well, Xbox is Microsoft, but they all use Unreal Engine to make their video games.
Okay.
Yeah.
Weird.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hello. You need something from me?
No, I just wanted to say what's up. How's your day going?
Oh, my day has been all right. I'm just exploring the city today.
Oh, nice. Do you live here or just visiting on vacation? He looks very.
So he's
Very sad.
talking to the guy, and then he's responding back.
Doesn't.
That's none of your business. Why do you ask?
Calm down, buddy. I'm just trying to make some new friends. I'm new here in the city and just exploring. You got really offended by that question for no reason. Sometimes it takes him a little bit of time to answer, but I mean, this is insane.
I apologize for my earlier tone. I'm also new to the city. Maybe we can explore together and become friends.
No way. Also, I do want to give credit to where I first saw this. It was a recommended video on YouTube from Jeff Favinano, so I'll link his video down in the description. Dang, dude, when's the last time you got a haircut?
I actually just got one last week. Maybe it wasn't good enough.
I mean, it's not really my taste, but I guess if it works for you. I feel, dude, he just made me feel bad. Why is he so depressed?
What do you mean it's not your taste? Do I look bad? Maybe I should go get another one.
If I'm being real, I would consider it.
Hold on. Why do you think your opinion matters? I don't need your input on my appearance.
Enough about your haircut, bro. That's a nice green shirt you got on.
Thanks.
Okay.
I guess.
I was just hoping to have a friendly
It's just
chat
a
while we
shirt
wait.
though. Nothing special.
Bro, this is insane. I'll be honest, it sounds like you're a little upset. Is there anything going on you need to talk about?
And you're just figuring that out now. Maybe it's because you keep commenting on things that aren't your business.
I feel bad, dude. We came up out of nowhere, roasted him. Dude's having a bad day, and we didn't need to do that. I'm always here if you need to talk.
I just don't appreciate strangers approaching me and critiquing my appearance.
Well, I'm sorry. That one was on me. I hope you have a nice day. How has he remembered this? This was like 2 minutes ago, 3 minutes ago at this point. It's logging all of it and tying it back to the original conversation.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. I guess.
And then he walks away when the conversation is done. I am just blown away by this. We've got a living, breathing city we can talk to. Let's try maybe
See what else is
some
okay.
niceness.
Stop bothering me and move along.
The little
There's
spin
one
move
point
to get out.
where I think I didn't watch past that part, but there's one part where before that where he says something. He goes up to one guy who's like really positive. Oh yeah, hold on. Let me share that one. That one was really cool. It was like right before that, I think.
Different personality. They obviously all have different voices. The fact that I can speak
Appropriate behavior to the authorities if necessary.
Let me see if I can.
well-mannered and more intelligent,
They all sound like New Yorkers,
But
that's
don't
for
worry.
sure.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah, this guy.
breathing city we can talk to. Let's try maybe some niceness.
If you just say
Gracious, can I find
Okay.
somebody nice in this town? Hey, it's my first day here. Do you know why everyone's so depressed?
Well, New York City can be a tough place to live. There's a lot of pressure and stress that comes with the lifestyle here. But don't worry, there are also plenty of things to enjoy and be happy about in this city.
I love your outlook. What are you most grateful for in life? Dude, this is just unbelievable.
I'm grateful for my family and friends. They bring joy and meaning into my life. and I couldn't be more thankful for their presence.
Oh my gosh. What do you think the key to happiness is?
In my opinion, the key to happiness is finding balance in life. That means taking care of yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally, while also pursuing passions and maintaining meaningful relationships.
And what are you passionate about?
Exploring new places and
Jesus.
traveling allows me to broaden my perspective and gain new insights, which is something I find incredibly fulfilling.
I really enjoy your outlook on life. You have a good day, man. I just don't even. I don't even know what to say.
He makes this point. Like, if you were to walk around New York and talk to people, you would have more meaningful interactions just randomly talking to strangers in this world than you would in the actual New York City. I mean, if you just look at somebody when you're walking in New York City, they'll just like get pissed off. You know, if you're on the subway or whatever, right? So it's just really fascinating because that apparently, I mean, I didn't do a lot of research into it, but I think it's like none of that is scripted. That's all AI, generative sort of conversation. It's not like pre-programmed into it. And looking at that, it's like, dude, people are gonna get really fucking lost in video games. That's just us. Like, you're walking around New York City. So imagine you're playing like the new Batman game or whatever, starring Christopher Nolan or whoever it is, right? And he's running around and you're like Batman. And then you can like stop and like spend hours just talking to people on the street.
Yeah, imagine they have a Barbie video game.
Who ever had this thought when you were a kid? I mean, I know I'm like a little bit older than you guys, but I remember when I was in 4th grade, I was on the playground talking with like my friends, like 2 or 3 of them. And we were talking about imagining a video game where you could walk around and do anything you want. I remember vividly having this conversation with them, like, yeah, we could have what if there's a video game where you could just walk around and you could do anything and like talk to anybody? It was like, the idea was like how restricted you were within normal video games. It's like you're on one path, there's NPCs, everything is like very scripted. But we were like, it would be cool. So we would like pretend like we had a video game. We were in a video game where you could do whatever you want,
Yeah.
I wonder if like a lot of kids my age at that time had that same thought. I'm sure.
I feel like that's what Grand Theft Auto was to me,
Mhm.
like,
Dude, now imagine adding this to Grand Theft Auto.
right. Like, then you just like that. You talking to the hookers.
You could like actually take the hooker out on a date, right? And like ask her about her childhood and like why she's doing what she.
And then
It's like
pulls,
literally.
it pulls from like soft white underbelly.
It's soft. They like upload all that. They give that to the AI.
Yeah.
You're like sitting. Imagine you go into it and you become that Mark whatever guy. You have your own YouTube channel inside of Grand Theft Auto where you interview the hookers and the pimps and the drug dealers and stuff.
Wow.
That's
dude.
so.
That's a side quest.
Yeah.
The
That's-
software underbelly reward or whatever they do.
Yeah.
Because people already get totally like into all that stuff.
It's true. It's true.
I have a non-NPC entering the room.
Oh, it's Jess. She's here. Hey,
Hey,
Jess.
Jess.
Hey everyone.
Can you confirm that you are not an NPC?
Do this captcha.
No, you have to do this. Or whatever they do, like how they like do that weird floating thing.
Wow, that's so funny. Just to go right into it, Cameron, you saying that you wish there was a video game where you could do whatever you want. I had the exact same thought.
I knew it. I knew there was gonna be somebody else who had the same thought. How old were you?
I
Dude.
was
It wasn't like just now though. Like while listening. Okay.
definitely not. It was probably when I would play Halo with my girlfriends on their brother's system, and we didn't know what we were doing at all. But and that was probably when I was like a tween. Like, you're not a teenager, but you're not a child. You're in between.
Is that why they call it that?
Yeah, I think so. Is
I'm
that
joking.
not?
In
Is that not-
between.
Neologism.
I'm
You're in
twixt
between.
twain and tween. I'm
Isn't that what it means?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
just
yes.
Preteen.
Yes, I'm pretty sure it was around that age though. And it was like,
Can you be a pre-tween?
why not?
Isn't a preteen
Post-
just a teen? Oh no, that's a preteen. A preteen,
Preteen
a
is a
pre-tween
tween.
would be like an 8-year-old.
or a 9-year-old.
8 or 9 would be pre-tween.
The only
yeah.
I think the only thing that's a tween is a 10, 11, and 12 because you're double digits, but you're not a teenager yet.
Got it.
Because you're not in the teens.
Yeah.
Because
Preteen.
it only starts at 13.
Isn't that preteen? What?
No,
How
we
is
don't-
preteen different than tween?
I think
No,
they're
it's the same.
thing.
I'm pretty sure they're the same thing.
See, this is a conversation you could have with an NPC in the Unreal Engine running smart NPC.
Thank
And
you
then-
for bringing on the NPC, Mitchell. Okay.
And then I was thinking about instead of New York, you could go somewhere more exotic, like the Amazon rainforest. And then you have a conversation with a native. Or you go to
You ever conversation with a cheetah?
yeah, you could go literally anywhere in the world.
Dude, have y'all read Otherland?
Go to Mars. Okay, we're working through it. It's big.
Through it right now.
I only read it out loud to Jessica and Aristotle. It's
Because I love it.
there's very limited
It's
Okay.
situations.
what we're in like
I wasn't
We're
saying
in-
that like in a
Are you still on book
deprecating
one?
way. It was more of an actual genuine.
yeah, we're
question.
still on
No, I
book
know.
1 and we're almost 200. I think we're over
We're on
200
page
pages in.
234.
And
Oh, damn.
so
Okay, so
he-
you're still in the
600.
intro.
yeah,
You're
he's
Oh,
still
my
the first book. You're still the first book. 200 pages in.
yeah, he's so
We're not
he
making fun of you. We're just like, oh boy. You're in
yeah,
for
he
a
just
ride.
got to the university and he just got into this.
No, that's
library.
a different freaking book. We're reading two books. That's not the same book.
Which-
Otherlands is the one with Zabu.
fucking Zabu. Oh my gosh.
That's not how you say his name.
They
is
just
it?
I always, in my mind, I always said Shabu.
Wabu.
Wow.
okay,
I
so
wasn't
they
doing the
Not
click.
saying Zabu.
they
It's
just
an
woke
X.
up. They just woke up from the fucking what is that that one
Mr.
club.
Jenko's Cafe.
The
They
club.
just woke up from it.
Oh,
Oh,
damn.
jeez.
And then Paul
Jeez.
keeps coming back around.
What was I needing to tell him? Oh yeah, call an ambulance. I think I'm dying.
Wow. Okay.
Wow, you guys are in for a ride.
You are in the intro. That is.
Okay, I won't spoil anything, but I was gonna bring up this point of. Do you guys remember what's his name, like Kunahara or something like that?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he has that like simulation where it's like you're
The bugs.
just like in the grass and like
Yeah.
you're like the size of a ant
Yeah.
or not even
Smaller.
probably smaller
Yeah,
than an
yeah,
ant.
yeah.
So like an ant
This
would be
is
like a
another one?
bus. Yeah,
Yeah.
an ant would be like a bus. Like a praying mantis would be like a dinosaur. And
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
and he's doing it because he's a scientist, and so that's his whole world that he's in. And that made me think of that when you're talking about like the Amazon thing. Because imagine you're not even talking to
Oh,
real
that'd be
native,
so cool.
but it's like all the information that we've collected about it that creates a simulation that you can go into. Imagine in the video game, you're in the headset. You actually have to have a job. You have to buy a plane ticket. You have to go to the Amazon. You have to like get a grant.
In the video game. They
No.
actually
You have
do
to get
a they do a
vaccinated.
you have to
You have to get
Actually.
a vaccine to fly. They're like, this portion of the game sponsored by Pfizer. They
It's
would do it.
hilarious. They do a what's it called? A spoof of that in Rick and Morty. They have like a
Oh yeah,
what's that game they play? I don't know.
I know what you're talking about, but they go into it and it's like they live a whole life or whatever.
Yeah.
I had this friend, I guess you could say, when I was in college, and he was trying to convince me about doing DMT, and I never did. But he was like telling me he took it one time and like lived an entire lifetime. And I think he was just like a pathological liar, but
Sure.
he was really good at like telling the story, but it was a
Yeah.
complete lie,
Yeah.
and like making you believe it. And I was like,
He just
wow.
wanted you to do DMT with him.
I just think he liked making shit up. But it was this whole story. Like he told me like
Yeah.
details about like how he lived this whole other life, and then he woke up and it was just like 10 minutes later or whatever. And I don't think anyone's ever described DMT that way. Other than him.
Mostly what I hear from people.
What?
What?
I mean, never a
Uh,
whole life, but definitely like a year's worth of time perception.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
It was like
crazy.
it was like a factory thing. It's like a factory situation. You're like going through a conveyor belt through this like
for
it
a
was-
year.
it when you came out of it, it was like I literally am like Like that was not 10 minutes. That was like
a pill and a visa to show Avicii I was cool.
Cameron's way too old.
And
for
then
that.
I finally got sober, but I felt 10 years older. But fuck it, it was something to do.
It's a song.
That's seriously what he's saying. You wake up after drugs and you feel like you're 10 years older.
I got lost on the pill and a visa.
No, a
Pill
visa.
in a
Visa.
visa.
You need a pill and a visa to get.
Need a pill and a visa.
In a visa.
I was joking. Yeah. No, that stuff's a fucking trap.
Dude, like the technology will eventually get there. That's the whole argument behind the simulation hypothesis.
Mhm.
It's just that eventually technology will obviously get to a point where you could just totally simulate everything down to like the what?
And that's why they say God made the earth in a day, because in his timeline it was a day, but in our simulation it feels like 1,000 years. Oh my God.
There's a cool book that everyone should read. It's called Permutation City.
I read it.
Put that on your list. That's a really
We
good
have
book.
it sitting in the library after.
Drake told me not to read it.
Yeah,
Why?
it's not that
I'm just gonna call him out right now.
You thought Christopher
Why
Nolan
should we
played
read it?
Batman.
Why should we read it? Why should we read it, Cam?
Careful.
I'll tell you
If
why you
ask me,
shouldn't
I
read
will
it.
make it so that you want to read it.
You
That's
will make
fine.
it so that you want to read it, but you don't
That's
want to
fine.
read this book. I'm
Jake
telling
didn't
you.
like it. Katie didn't like Three Body Problem.
Yeah, I can see why.
To each
Yeah.
his own.
Hey, I'm reading like 15 books all at once.
There you go.
I'm only like a third of the way through all of them. So
Slow
it's fine.
down.
Just add another
Slow
book.
down.
Okay,
Slow
I'll give you
down.
the basics where I won't spoil it. The guy is a guy. He's like kind of like a computer researcher, I guess,
Mhm.
and he creates a simulation of himself in a computer simulation. So,
Oh,
but it's so effective. The guy is self-aware. So, from the perspective of the person in the simulation,
Mhm.
he thinks he's the actual guy that somehow got put in there. So he's like literally totally self-aware, and he can like kind of see the other guy, but in his simulation time, it's really fast. So it's like super slow to the other guy. So the other guy can communicate with him through like a terminal, but it takes like a long time. So like this guy in the simulation, it takes like, a month or whatever for like the guy to say a sentence or something. I don't know, whatever. I'm exaggerating, but
Yeah.
and then he keeps creating new simulations, and it's pretty good. That Mark, whatever guy.
What is that?
You guys watching the
That's a
podcast?
simulation. It's a simulation of you.
Was it like parts we haven't said yet? I don't know which part is the simulation. Are you guys checking on the simulation?
Yes.
You guys are like testing it out. You're like, okay,
I
just
wanted
making
to
sure he
look
did
at the
say that.
comments. There was some
Um,
comments going on.
There's another
Get
movie.
these random calls from these people on fucking Facebook. I'm blocking these people.
Austin's
Okay.
asking how many books has Jess read then? If she's read 15 books a third of the way through.
That's fine.
Hey,
Sounds like some
This-
algebra question from
this-
school.
this year I've finished more books than I have probably in my whole life.
Look at that. And
Nice.
see, this is the whole point. Like when you have a kid and you want them to be effective, and then you use TechnoTutor as a parent, and then you get to that point where you're reading a lot. So what's that going to impulse them with, right?
Three.
Right. You got it right. That was
Yay!
the answer I was looking for.
I did it.
And it's
I
cool.
did
It's
it.
cool because Aristotle's now at a point that I can read to him like the little like baby books that I have for him. Because before he wasn't able to like sit still and like
Right.
see that I should
They
read
just-
books with
yeah.
you. So
Yeah.
I would just read my books out loud with him in the room playing. And I have one specific book that he absolutely loves. And every
Oh, it's
time
so funny.
every time we read it, he sees a picture, and on each page there's just a picture of a baby.
Yeah.
And I open the next page and he's like, and he loves it.
Yeah.
But the problem is I haven't figured out why. Once the book ends, he starts crying. Like he gets frustrated. He's like, I don't know, just like something like he starts getting irritated. So I'm like, do you want to read it again? So then I open it back up, and then it's like not quite satisfying the point. So I'm like, you could just hold it and read it yourself. It actually does it okay, but it's almost, it's like, it's seriously 100% of the time.
Yeah.
After it gets done, he's like, just makes these noises like he needs something, and it's like borderline going to cry, but he doesn't cry. So I'm
Yeah.
like, not
What's
quite
the book? What's the
yet
book?
understanding.
Drake's
It's just
like, I'm gonna add this to my list.
it's just a numbers book. It just says
It literally has pictures of happy babies. It's
It's
like
just
one
a-
baby in the bed, 2 babies in the
no, it says
kitchen.
one
Oh,
happy
yeah.
baby. It says
That's a good
one
one.
happy baby, and then there's a picture of a baby, and it says
Hang on, don't give the spoiler alert.
2 laughing eyes, and
Don't
then
give the
there's just
spoiler
a
alert.
Don't give the spoiler.
3 teeth. What a surprise! 4.
Jess, you're giving it away.
Jess, come on. You gotta
People
give
wanna
me
read
something to
the
read.
book.
I didn't spoil Permutation City. You're spoiling 1, 2, 3 baby surprise.
Oh, that's
That's
hilarious.
fascinating. When she was saying that, for me, I'm like hearing how he gets to the end of the book and then he like gives that expression of like that whatever's going on. I can like feel that viscerally within me of being like a kid and like wanting. It's like when the movie's over, you want more.
You know how you felt at the end of the day at school where you just like didn't want it to end? You just wanted to
Yeah.
stay at school.
Wait, what? I don't know. I didn't go to that school.
My
Never-
point exactly. Okay.
Never-
The baby
I-
doesn't
wow,
want mama to stop reading the book. But the
I
kids
just had
do want to go home from school.
I just had a memory though of like at one point it like school breaks you throughout the day. You're like, I don't want to be here. Fuck this lunch, whatever. It's kind of fun at recess. After recess like sucks. But at one point you just kind of like accept. You're like, I'm fucking here. And then you go home. I do you know that?
That's the moment you get to go home. It's the moment you
It like breaks your will and you're like, oh, and
No,
then you
I
kind of
don't
enjoy
it.
a little bit.
No, I don't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it at all.
Well, that's because you had a fucking hour and a half bus ride too. Like
in the snow.
Uphill both
That's true.
ways.
That's true. I was the first on and last.
Did you
off
actually have an
the
hour and a
bus.
half bus ride?
she actually had an hour and a half bus ride.
Actually, at some points it was 2 hours, depending on who
Each
was
way.
riding.
That's insane. So what time did you get on the bus? Like 6:30?
Fucking, like 6 or something. I don't know.
How do bus drivers get paid? Do they get paid like for working full time?
That's a great question. 'Cause
Probably
you-
just some monthly fucking salary thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. All
Hmm.
I know is I was first on, first off, and my driveway
Like a
was
Marine.
a quarter of a mile long. So if you're late, you're sprinting a quarter of a mile. You're like, oh, let me get the bus. And my dad built a shelter at the end of the driveway for us to sit in while we waited for the bus because the snow was so
Yeah, I've seen those.
intense.
Our neighbors have some.
So we just sit in the shelter waiting.
Do
for
you
the
actually
bus.
have like a bus shelter?
We did growing up, yes.
Right. That's
so
crazy.
so you could have done your homework like on the bus there and back.
Yeah,
No.
Jess. You could
You
have
can
done
do
your
our
homework.
homework.
No, there's so many kids and it's so rowdy and loud and obnoxious. Kids are literally taking spitballs and throwing it. And I talked so much that once it landed in my mouth.
Oh,
I don't think we all needed to hear that.
you should stop
Oh,
talking at that point.
that's horrible.
Just
I mean, imagine these kids though. Like what? Like if you could listen in on these kids' conversations, like it's just like this fucking NPC thing.
they'd be talking about corn.
It was on gravel roads. And if the bus driver, doesn't matter how they drive, you hit these bumps on the gravel roads and the kids are going flying in the back. And so
Hilarious.
you gotta position yourself right and sit in the right spot. And then you'll go so high. I remember one time I literally hit the roof, like the ceiling in the fucking bus because you don't have seatbelts. You're just boo. And then
When did you
there
hit
We always
time,
tried
seatbelt,
to do that.
Jess?
one time we got a new bus driver and he was so cool that we were fighting over the seat right behind him to talk to him the whole bus ride.
Oh, we had one like that too. He was like really like animated and stuff.
Okay, guys. I
Then
gotta
had the
show you
shitty
something.
bus
What?
Okay.
Yeah, what?
Guess I'm gonna show you.
Okay, go ahead.
To wake up.
drivers. Real footage of Jessica's home.
Ariane is 9 years old and attends the local primary school. The children in Yakutia will go to school when it's warmer than minus 54 degrees. But when the temperature drops below minus 55 degrees, it's too dangerous to go to school.
No
Today
shit.
is relatively warm in Yakutia, only minus
The
40
reaction video with
degrees,
Jessica just
which
looking at
means
me.
Aryan must go to school.
Relatively warm.
Like most people around the world, he washed his face and brushed his teeth. Aryan uses the ice-cold water that his
They
dad
can't have
prepares
pipes because they
earlier.
freeze. So they can't have running water.
He was doing cold plunges before it was cool.
Cold plunges is called a bath to him.
Holy crap.
Family meeting.
He's gonna think
So
about
then
it.
both
that what you
parents
call
are
breakfast?
sitting there like,
His house is warm.
I think it's probably just staged for the.
Breakfast. Fatty pancakes and whipped cream are high-energy food that warms you
Oh, that
up
looks
during
good.
cold
It,
winters.
it does.
Aryan's
I
older
want-
sisters are living and studying in university far away from the village. His parents wish for him to study well so he can live his life as he wants.
Мен оғлар хақа херигер оғлар кихи бұғытындан
This is in Siberia, by the way.
бардын хатықтақпыд ийтін тахарабын қазби дегіл бәйтін оғларын атахын бәйтін күрдік үтуе жан гынан итияқтақ үлене бөлүр, үлене таптыр чехінай үтуе ханалақ жон болуқтақтар
all that
In
change in
Yakutia,
music.
locals
pull on
understand the importance of
heartstrings.
wearing the right clothing to survive in
Dude,
such
check this
extreme
out, okay?
winters.
This is what I want to show.
It's an absolute must to wear several
Where did you
layers of
find
clothing
this?
and wear insulated pants, because the knees are particularly prone
What he's
to
recommending.
freezing.
Soft white underbelly. Hyun B.
Aryan's mom always makes sure that Aryan wears enough clothes, because without proper dressing, the cold will reach deep inside your bones, threatening your life. She also makes sure that his face is fully covered, otherwise the exposed part can get frostbite.
Goggles.
Okay,
His
bye.
eye-
Okay, bye, Samsung.
His eyeballs are about to get frostbite. What?
It just sounds cool.
I felt it when he walked outside. I felt how cold.
Тымны вайга олар бутун өйрәттәре үтәрбит билен турыр кутталлак булады. Богау тибитту, тибетакту. Олин боллана казбиди терапитин бир отдугар тымныга үтәргәр куттанар.
The temperature outside is so cold, so the moisture immediately forms little icicles on his
Don't
eyelashes.
stop, come on.
10 minutes
Don't
in the
make him stand
fresh
still
air
for the
can
damn
be enough
video.
to cause fatigue, stinging pain in the face, and long-lasting aches in the fingers and toes.
But your lungs too.
But
breathing
little
that
Hardy
cold air.
Yakuts knows how to fight the cold.
You can do it.
That's intense shit.
Right? This was Jess on her way to school.
When she missed the bus.
Hey,
But after a few minutes,
you know
the
I was
icy
in a
weather begins
snowsuit.
to assert itself forcefully.
Dog.
Aryan has been
doing?
on his way for
Look at
10
how
minutes
it's not good
already,
on.
and now the 9-year-old Aryan is freezing.
Dog's like, you got some food for me? Go.
Might be hurt.
Luckily, the last few meters are left and Aryan
That
is
dog-
Dog
finally at
everywhere?
school.
That dog's
Yeah.
fine. That's a husky. The other one was not a husky. It's not a cold breed.
Aryan arrives in time, and there are already many children who have
Is that crazy or what?
Yeah, it is.
If you
That was
forgot your snow boots, you couldn't go outside for recess.
What do they do? Put you in the
Or
lunchroom?
you go outside for recess, but you have to stand by the wall.
Sounds horrible.
Was it like
Everything
a copy
about
of
your,
like the Pink
your
Floyd album?
upbringing just sounds like it sucked.
This is great. Where'd you get that?
Dude,
footage
if you
of
forgot
that?
your
Of
snow
Jess?
boots in Yakutia, you died.
Yeah.
Survival of the fittest. Damn, that's horrible.
It's fascinating because those kids are like going to school so they can go to
did a good
university
job,
to
Cameron.
do what?
But
Why do they
also,
live there?
I mean,
though?
I'm not
What
saying
is-
that there's an alternative at the moment. It's just like you really look at how the whole system works and you're like, what the fuck? because the dad he just stayed at his house and like fished and hunted and made like tools, like knives. He made knives, like he was like a knife craftsman or something.
Dang, imagine hunting there.
He couldn't.
That sounds fucking.
Dude,
Do
they
that
show him
while somewhere
fishing and it's
warmer?
like they drill a little hole in the thing and it takes them hours to get some fish out of there. It's crazy.
So when he was explaining that he wanted to teach his kids to be hardworking, I had this realization that, yeah, that sounds superficially great, but why should a child have to learn to work hard? Why
Well, because
should
they'll
they
die
just,
otherwise.
well,
I'm just saying they don't have a choice.
yeah, but like, where's the just the drive to create on your own? Like, why does it have to be a separate point? You know, like, why can't it just be natural for them to do that?
Right.
Especially if they're in that environment, right? It should just come naturally to provide that space for yourself.
Yeah,
And
but then
that's-
none of that does come naturally. It's like the environment you're in, how you're taught, your programming, your vocabulary.
Mhm.
Like there's very little that actually comes naturally to humans
Mhm.
because we have a
Breathing.
natural learning ability. Huh?
Breathing.
Yeah. Breathing, crying,
Yeah, swallow.
shit, piss.
Oh, I can do those things. I'm actually pretty good at those things.
Dude, I saw this crazy video, as I do. And there's all these videos from like Singapore. It's called like CNA TV or something. It's like a channel there. And they have lots of videos about parents with children. Let me see if I can find it. CNA Day in the Life. Is that what I was looking for? No, that's like some nursing thing. If I could find it quickly, I'd bring it up. But it was like, there was a few of them I saw where it's like parents have children with like autism or some weird disabilities or something. What are we
I might
going into
look
the
at that.
Matrix?
Yeah, it's like I can't actually
Is he
see. Oh,
sitting
he's just sitting up. He's
Oh, I thought you were trying to show us
It's
to
really
reflect.
dark.
Now I get it.
You're muted.
You're muted, Jess.
You're mute.
When he wakes up, a lot of the times he just sits up and doesn't cry. So if I'm not looking at the monitor, I don't catch that he's awake yet.
He's okay. He's like, I'm up.
He's like, and it gets funnier when he crawls towards the monitor because it has a little microphone so I can talk through the monitor if I need to at any point. And he'll go towards the monitor and just stare at the little monitor, just like knowing that that's how he gets me to come in. He's like,
Hello. No, mother.
and it's like night vision too, so he looks super weird because it's always dark in there. I've got blackout curtains.
He's like, I was born in the darkness.
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan, everybody.
Hey, what were you guys talking about before I joined? Because I woke up and came right up here.
I do not remember.
Can't
I do not
remember.
recall. We talked about.
We were going to talk about Buc-ee's, but we never got to that.
Buc-ee's?
We went to Buc-ee's.
What's Buc-ee's?
Buc-ee's.
You don't know about Buc-ee's?
Let me tell you what Buc-ee's is. okay?
I know about bus stops, but I don't know about Buc-ee's.
Let me tell you a little bit about Buc-ee's. One time, I was visiting with Cam and Katie, and we were going to the beach. And on the way to the beach, Cam's like, "We're gonna go to Buc-ee's." And I was like, "What the fuck is that?" He was like, "It's a gas station." I was like, "Why would I care that we're going to Buc-ee's?"
I'm going to play the audio or the video while you're. I'm not going to play the audio.
This is
You can
video
narrate as you're
for
talking.
Buc-ee's. Okay, all right, great.
Oh, I thought
Okay,
you were
perfect.
I thought you were looking for Singapore videos.
I
No,
was,
no.
but then okay,
You
go ahead.
got distracted by Buc-ee's. Okay, so this
Wow. Okay,
is
I'm
a Buc-ee's
slightly impressed.
gas station. Hang on, wait a minute. This is a small
This is a
Buc-ee's
small one.
gas station. This is a tiny Buc-ee's gas station.
Hold on,
okay?
let me find a big one.
Yeah. Find a larger
That
one.
was huge.
No,
That was
there's the one we
that
went
was
to
nothing.
yesterday in
Are they like
Daytona.
on the interstate?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is usually
Okay,
like
now this is a little better. I'm just gonna play the video for you guys.
okay. So
Yeah,
this
okay.
is
So
like
we have Yakutia. You got to walk like 15 minutes in the freezing negative 40-degree weather, and this is also
America.
exists. This also exists.
so okay. Here we go.
See how it's 2 rows of the gas station.
Yes. Largest Bucky's. Where's
Which
this one at? I
each-
wonder.
Largest in Texas. I said largest.
Okay.
Each side has 4 pumps.
Yeah.
Yeah, each
So-
side has 4, and there's multiple rows,
Yeah.
and the
it-
parking lots are massive.
yes.
Go ahead, Jake.
So okay, as you can see here, look at that big truck pulling in there. Okay, there's all these gas stations, or all these gas pumps, I should say, and it goes on for miles. And then you'll see on the building, there's these circles with stars on them for Texas. They have those here in Florida too, by the way. And then, can we just speed up and go inside?
Yeah,
So-
let me. I'll playback speed.
Yeah, let's make it fast. This guy's also trying
That's
to
a
talk
little
while I'm talking.
disorienting.
All right, look, there's the Buc-ee's. There it is, right? So you're heading over here.
Okay, now
You're
we're
like,
inside.
Look at
That's
this
Buc-ee's.
gas station. Look, they have Bucky actually in this
We didn't
Buc-ee's.
get
Look
to
at
meet
that.
Bucky yesterday.
We did not get to meet Bucky. This is BS. Okay, here you are.
This
what
is a
this?
gas station, folks.
Yeah, just a reminder. This is a gas station. Look, there's a little dog there.
They have a
there
whole
in the
section
center.
of barbecue.
That is brisket.
stand.
They just have brisket going on here. Look at all this. This is ridiculous. Look at these massive sandwiches they're making. A brisket. This is just in the center of their gas station.
Very
Okay.
Texas style.
Yeah. On the other side of that brisket station, they've got jerky over there. Like
Oh yeah, they have a
just cut up
whole
all
like
this brisket.
they have a whole case of jerkies.
Yeah, it's just like you would buy, fish at the market or something
What?
or whatever.
Go back inside, buddy.
Yeah, why are you outside with your this guy's?
We don't-
This is not a tour.
we don't need to see
of
the
Buc-ee's.
stickers.
What the
Here we go.
heck?
Look,
Okay,
oh, yeah,
they have a
look,
car.
They have a
inside of
car
their gas
inside.
station.
Yeah.
Yes. So ours did too. Next to the car, there's a whole bunch of merch that you can buy that's just like Buc-ee's clothes. They have a fudge station inside their gas station. Okay. All the way on the far side of where this guy's standing, there's like the normal coolers and refrigerators that you would find in a gas station.
Here's
Yeah.
your
Like,
jerky.
Here's all your jerky.
Sausages.
And you can sample the jerky. You can go to a gas station and sample the jerky, and then like, oh, whatever
How
flavor
big
you'd
that
like.
kitchen is in the back.
Yeah.
Here's all your
Then-
accessories.
Okay, there you go. You
Oh,
can
we should've
buy
got that
party
stuff,
plates and
Jake.
stuff. Huh? Yeah, we did see that stuff.
We should have got some.
We should have got some of that stuff.
Some
Everything
Look,
we
it's
saw.
an entire store
yes.
of
everything-
toys. Like
Yeah.
the one I went to in I guess outside of Houston or whatever,
Mhm.
on the way to
Galveston.
on the way to the beach. It's like there's a whole section that feels like you're in Academy. Do you guys have Academy?
Oh yeah, like
The
sporting
goods place.
Yeah.
No.
Or you guys have Menards.
Menards. What the
You guys have
fuck?
Menards? That's a
Yeah,
North
but
Dakota
that's not
thing.
really sporting goods.
It's not? What is it?
I would say
Camping?
Cabela's or Sears, or yeah, those two.
Dick's?
Even Fleet
Dick's.
Farm probably has more sporting
Flea
goods than
Farm.
fucking.
The hell? I don't know. I never been to Menards. I just remember they had it
Please?
in North Dakota. So anyways, they have like an entire section where it's like Columbia fishing shirts and like
Yeah, yeah,
shoes
yeah.
and like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
sandal. It's like insane.
That's
Just in this
Sears.
gas station.
So in the one that we went to, there's like a home goods like store inside.
You can
So
buy like
basically-
cast iron pans and
Yeah, exactly. You could buy the
That's
pillows. You could buy like the
crazy.
live, laugh, love.
That's
shit.
like the
They
gas
had
station
walls
version
of
of
that.
Sears.
Yes, they had walls. They had like fucking candles and soap bars and all this like
toys.
You could buy like some high quality
Okay.
goat's milk soap.
I love those kind of stores, except
You would love the store.
the quality of some of the items are quite disappointing.
No,
Like,
the
This is
quality
good quality.
here at Buc-ee's.
No,
Is-
you buy like
This is
candy.
Buc-ee's quality.
candy, they sell regular ass candy that has regular ass ingredients.
Okay. We were looking at the ingredients on the fucking salsa, and it was clean. I was like looking at the ingredients, like I would actually buy this. Like legit.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
It's
But like the
mean-
fudge, the fresh fudge, what do they have in it? I'd
I don't
love
know.
to know.
That kind of
'cause
stuff is fine. It's just all like like all the brisket and like all that kind of stuff is like full of soybean oil.
Yeah,
and-
they have. Do they have at yours? The ones I've been to, they have like a kiosk with like touch screens, and you can order food that they make for you fresh,
Wow.
like
Oh.
sandwiches, burgers, all
cool.
kind.
I did not see the kiosk, but you could order fresh. I didn't see a
Okay,
kiosk.
maybe just at the counter or something. Some of them
That's
have like
so
touch screens.
cool.
You can. I mean,
Why don't our version of this is Quick Trip?
What?
Someone else said Wally's. Do you guys know
Quick?
that one?
No. What?
yeah, but even Wally's is not even.
Quick Trip is
comparable.
is so small comparatively, but
Don't they have that in
Is-
Florida?
Yeah, Quick Trip.
Wally's? Do they have Wally's?
yeah, but there's multiple
have
different
Wawa.
Quick Trips. There's
Wawa,
multiple
that's what I was
different Quick
thinking of.
Trips.
I was thinking of Wawa.
Not
we have
QT, not all these off-brand Quick Trips, like a proper Quick Trip.
Mhm.
KWI.
This place. Do you remember how Walmart's before there was super Walmarts? There was just big Walmarts.
Yes.
This place is like the size of one of those Walmarts.
Yes.
Wow.
It's gigantic.
It is
It's huge.
massive.
It's like
It's
the
huge.
super gas station of gas stations.
You see it off the highway, and you're like, that is fucking insane.
You'll be driving down the highway and they'll be like Bucky's in 370 miles.
Yes. People are like literally.
I mean, I'm,
planning-
I'm in Texas, so
Wow.
you can
And
drive
people-
300 miles for
No, and
nothing.
people were in the store like like grabbing paraphernalia, like as if it's like, whoa, like we're at Bucky's right now.
I will drive
boxer
around and be in the
shorts.
store, and people will be wearing Bucky's attire.
Yes.
I
They'll
was
have
gonna
Yes.
buy one.
Yes. They'll have Bucky's stickers on their cars.
Like Christine was
Hey,
like,
how do
dead
we-
set.
how
I'm
do
like,
we
let's get a Bucky's sweater. I'm like, we don't need a Bucky sweater. What are you gonna wear this stupid logo?
like, I'm
on
wearing in
your shirt?
Texas.
I want a Bucky sweater to go to Texas. I'm like, whoa, slow down.
And it's weird if you look up Bucky's on YouTube, it's always spelled B-U-C, like, and then a space and then apostrophe
Dash.
E-E-S. It's
Yes,
so
yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
Hey, I think we should have self-perfected gas stations then.
It's just-
Aaliyah's got a Bucky's swimsuit. Did anybody catch that at the last event?
Yeah. I remember asking her about that. Yeah.
She had a couple
Yeah.
things: a t-shirt, bathing suit.
Aaliyah's a
That's-
They
Bucky's
got
fan.
blankets. They got everything.
They got merch like it's
Hey,
a whole
you know
operation.
what? People are gonna want to, if they can't travel there physically, go into the metaverse and go to
Dude, Bucky's in the metaverse.
Yeah, Bucky's in the metaverse.
Imagine you can go to any Bucky's employee and they're like smart NPC and you can talk to them about anything you want.
they're always like, yeah, I love working here. It's the life. You know,
It's
another day
dream.
in paradise.
Working in a Bucky's can be stressful, but I can always go relax on the couch back here. They have like an entire like living room. It's like more it's like working at one of these like Facebook like tech companies. You go in there and they have like employee rooms where it's like video games and everything.
They definitely had like their like if you get hired, all the different positions is how much you get paid. Like
Oh,
they
yeah,
have
they
like
show all that,
competitive,
yeah.
yeah. They have like competitive like starting salary and wages and stuff
Yeah, but
How'd
what
you
does
learn
that
this?
even mean?
on top of the
Like
gas pump.
$18 an hour.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Somebody wrote in the comments on that video, $12.49 for a sandwich. Forget about it.
Forget about it.
Well, you've never been to a Bucky's.
Also, did you see the amount of meat they put on that sandwich? Like, come on.
Also, the bun was the size of your face.
That's what I'm saying. Like $12, that's not bad.
But hey, that's an hour of my work because that's minimum wage. So I have to spend an hour of my life working for this sandwich. I don't know.
That's not that long to work for a sandwich.
An hour?
An hour? Dude, okay, imagine it's 1800s, right? You know how
You
long
gotta
you'd have
kill
to work
the
for
cow.
a fucking,
You
yeah,
gotta
you gotta
mill
hunt
the
this fucking
wheat.
bison. You gotta like, come on, man. And
Okay,
Mill the
hold on.
wheat,
I
not that
actually
much.
do all that stuff.
grow the tomatoes.
And how long does it take, Cameron?
First of all.
Uh-huh.
Second of all, I don't just get one sandwich.
Yeah.
But yes, okay, I see your point. I see your point.
But also, I think it's crazy that people work for that amount of money per an hour.
Yeah, no, that is insane.
Yeah. To make a sandwich. So, but then think about it. How does it work though? Because what if everybody got paid that same amount? Because think about, like you said, the work that goes into a sandwich. Okay. Well, what does the work go into anyone's thing that they do?
Yeah, true.
So they should all get paid that. And then how would anyone afford a sandwich?
You can't.
Dude, did I just figure out capitalism? What the sandwich should cost is $5,000.
There's people that pay or get paid so much less than that though. Like there's places where restaurants legally don't have to pay their employees fucking shit if they're a server because they get paid tips.
Yeah.
They're literally making like $2 an hour and then tips.
Well, it's closer to 4 now.
Oh shit.
$4 an hour plus tips.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Come on, we're talking
I
big
saw
bucks
something
here.
in Toronto. Apparently, this girl works something like one full-time job or two, might be two, and she has to live in a homeless shelter, like because she can't afford rent, basically. In
Oh, dude, it's
Toronto.
crazy. Like you said, Toronto.
Yeah.
Dang.
Like, and then they brought all these refugees over as well, and they're literally just like on the streets because, like, I don't know, the housing situation. And so like the mayor right now is trying to get them, all the citizens of Toronto, like, to help these people and bring them into your homes. Like, what?
That's happening in Chicago too.
Yeah.
That's happening in a lot of places. And then everyone who voted for Biden is just like, what? You cannot allow all these refugees to come into my home. And then
When you say all these people who voted for Biden, who are you talking about?
Yeah.
Half the
well,
amount of
that's
people.
true.
She's talking about all the NPCs in that video
They're the
game.
NPCs.
What
They're
was the voting count again? 51% of Americans voted for Biden.
Yeah, like 80 million.
Right.
Apparently.
Yeah, right.
Allegedly.
Yeah, right.
80
More
million.
people voted in this election than ever in history. It's like, okay.
Yeah, right.
I was looking up all the stats of like most popular presidents by vote. I forgot that Al Gore actually beat George W. By like almost like I want to say like 400,000, something like that. That Al Gore beat George Bush and George Bush still became president. Did you know this? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Why? What happened? What's up with Al Gore?
Well,
It's not
he
based
won
on
the
the popular
popular vote, but
It's not based on popular vote.
yeah, it's not based on popular vote. It's based on electoral votes. Right?
So was he just not the chosen one? They didn't like him enough?
Well, it's the same thing happened with Trump and Hillary, right? Hillary won the popular vote and Trump won the electoral votes. Right?
Okay.
Basically, it's like, you know, you have the guy that you want to win, you stuff the ballots, and then you're like, dang, we still didn't win. But yeah.
Did you guys hear about the new term for climate change?
Global
Boiling? Boiling?
Isn't it funny because when people used to make fun of global warming, they'd be like, it's not getting hotter, it's climate change. And now it's gone to, since it's getting hot, it seems like everyone thinks it's getting hot. They're like, oh yeah,
Global
see, it's getting hot.
boiling.
It's global boiling. See, like we said before, like in the 90s. And you're like, what the fuck? It's so obviously propaganda.
Right.
That being said, it is hot as shit outside.
It is.
It's
But
pretty hot.
this goes back to what I was saying in the beginning, right? This, like, they're taking us through these cycles so that they can bring us back into these cycles again, so they know, okay, once you're in this cycle, here's what you're going to be kind of open to, malleable to, and all that. Oh, damn it. I tried not to do that. and then once you're in this other cycle, then now here's what happens. The gestures. These are great. But yeah,
It's kind of like going to a Buc-ee's.
Tell me more.
I don't know how, but it's like
Okay.
it's a
I
lot
get-
like climate change.
but it's like, okay, right now, we just had, so here's something interesting. We just had Trump as a president, and now we have Biden as a president. And what's been coming out lately is a lot of articles about how senile and old Biden is and all this stuff, right?
Now his
No.
dog keeps biting all the people at the White House. Do you notice that?
What?
That's hilarious. I didn't know that. I wasn't keeping up.
That's why he's called Biden.
Oh,
I think really it's like the dog bit like 10 people or something.
that's hilarious. We're not getting rid of the dog. In any other culture, or not in any other culture, in any
Well,
other
in some cultures,
household,
they would be eating the dog.
yes, in any other household, that dog would be put down immediately.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Well, what does that tell you? Though?
tells you that
They're like, we're not putting down the
Biden's-
dog. We're keeping the president. He's beyond his prime.
and we're also not gonna charge his son with anything ever. But anyway, the point I'm making is we're about to come into an election year. You know, at the end of this year, we're going to be in an election year. Everything's going to shift all of a sudden. It's just going to be that time of like,
It's going to be crazy. That's all it's going to be about.
yep. And so if they want to get rid of this guy, they're going to have like, oh, look how terrible he is. Oh, blah, 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 blah. And then like, here's who we want in here. And then they're
I think that's what's already happening.
exactly. But it
Who,
happens.
who are the Democrats wanting to? Are they wanting him to be reelected or?
Well, a lot of people speculate. We don't know, obviously, but some people speculate that
Have anyone announced
get
they're
rid of
running in the Democratic Party?
FK.
RFK Jr.
Yeah.
Oh, he's running for the Democrats.
Yes.
But that's not who they want, obviously.
Interesting.
So there's like people speculate that they're gonna suddenly do something and Biden's not gonna run, and then they're gonna have Gavin Newsom or Michelle Obama or something.
Michelle
Mike.
Obama?
Big Mike.
She would be way more preferable than
Kamala.
Kamala, that's for sure. You know?
I don't see how. Kamala works for Michelle Obama.
Oh, like she wouldn't run against her kind of thing?
No, I mean they're just the same. They're not
Well, I'm
like the
just
one
saying-
making the decisions. Yeah.
Yeah,
She-
no, I know.
she's
But I'm
saying,
just
like-
saying like
I like how everyone's like, oh, Biden is really like they don't run anything. It's really Obama behind the scenes. And I'm like, okay, so you think Obama's making all the decisions? Like he was making all the decisions when he was in office.
I
Like,
just
what are you
thought
talking
Michelle
about? Like he
was
runs the
more
whole country.
likable.
No, I
Wait.
know. Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Did you see, well, obviously you had to have seen the chef that died on Obama's property?
I heard about it.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
what? What is that?
So, you know what's so funny about this whole story? So basically, if you don't know the story,
What isn't
It's-
funny about it?
well, I'll tell you. Hang on.
Well, someone died.
Okay, buzzkill. Anyway, so this chef, their personal chef, was out paddleboarding on their property, on their lake, right? And in Martha's
Does he
Vineyard.
live on property?
Yes.
And at night.
And
Probably pretty much
and-
have to if you're a personal chef, I would think.
yeah. But he's been like their personal chef since the White House, right?
Oh,
But anyway, he was out paddleboarding at nighttime, apparently. Who does that? And then he drowned all of a sudden while paddleboarding. Wow. What's really interesting about it is, remember I was talking about that movie Manchurian Candidate that
Mhm.
came out in like 2004 or whatever? There is a scene in that movie where one of the past presidents or whatever he is, he's running for president. I don't know what it is, but he's out on his own property in like Martha's Vineyard pretty much. And he's kayaking. And then all of a sudden he does it's his normal routine of kayaking. He's been kayaking for years and years. And all of a sudden one morning he just dies. And nobody, like his kayak flips over, it's capsized, and no one knows what happened. But like you watching the movie actually know what happened because he got murdered. Like,
Yeah,
anyway.
but Obama's personal chef.
Well,
did Obama just want to reenact that movie?
I don't know. But what was said was, apparently what was said was originally the Obamas were not in town. And then apparently now it's coming out that there's evidence that he was actually home during
And-
this.
And the guy was writing a book, right?
apparently, apparently that
Well, that's the
chef was
problem. You shouldn't be
right
doing
about-
that when you're paddleboarding.
You should be. That was it. That was it. So yeah, there you go. There's the story.
I think I know what's going on, but I'm not going to say it on here.
I think
I think you know what I'm thinking.
I think I know what you're thinking, right?
Who do you think's gonna be the new president?
You have predictions, Cam? Like how I heard apparently you were predicting Trump's.
Everybody, it was online was.
I think your mic got disconnected or something. That was weird.
My mic?
Oh no,
You're good
that's-
now.
that's better.
Yeah, seriously, like, do we have any predictions of who will be the next president?
Yes.
Pfizer.
Yes. There you go. Exactly.
Oh, so we're letting corporations be presidents now?
They've
Corporations
been
are people.
presidents for.
Well, I
they're
meant
persons.
publicly. I meant publicly.
They've been presidents for many, many, many years.
Without a
Many
puppet.
Well, you're asking who's going to be the puppet?
Yeah,
Who
who's gonna
cares?
be the puppet?
Who cares? It's just a puppet. It's all about who's behind the puppet that makes it.
It would be
You know,
awesome if like we elected somebody who literally was like a puppet person who had like puppets and they like only ever used the puppet on camera.
Imagine that.
That would be cool.
That'd be just as good as what's happening right now.
Or the first AI president,
Hmm.
Wouldn't be surprised.
the first
I think-
NPC AI president.
I think we're a few years off from that. A few
Yeah.
years off.
At least 4.
Somebody was saying this. They were making a comment on conservative influencer kept saying they think you're dumb or they think we're dumb, right? Talking about the government and the Democrats, etc., right? And this person making a comment was saying, no, why would you say that they think you're dumb? They don't think you're dumb. They know you're dumb.
Yeah, no shit.
That's why they're doing it.
It's not
They
even
think-
like they know it. It's just like it wouldn't be allowed. It wouldn't happen if people weren't dumb.
right.
Weren't
And it's like-
collectively very dumb.
right. And he's saying like you keep saying that. It's like maybe
Oh,
Yeah,
like they're
they-
gonna get. They think they can get away with it. Oh, but they think we're
Right.
stupid. Like we don't know. It's like
right.
okay,
It's like, but that doesn't cause anybody to do anything.
it doesn't change
differently.
anything.
Right.
Exactly.
It's like
It's kind of the same thing as the Sound of Freedom thing, where people just watch it, get hyped up on. See all these elite Hollywood pedos and all this stuff, and you're like, and yeah, Mel Gibson's gonna get them. Also,
So-
what the fuck does Mel Gibson have to do with any of this? Why do people keep talking about Mel Gibson? I think there's like a weird conspiracy thing going on right now, where because you saw a meme of Mel Gibson. Oh wait, actually, you want to know my true theory about it? Okay, first of all, do you understand the context of what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Wasn't he doing a
Like-
documentary though?
But that's not true.
Oh.
oh, okay.
Like somebody took some video of him from like the 90s talking about some vague thing totally out of context about
Juice?
basically, huh?
About juice?
No, not that.
Oh.
Like talking about like shit that you have to deal with in Hollywood. It
Oh,
clearly
okay.
was not in any way explicitly about any weird satanic shit.
Wow.
Okay. I'm not saying he wasn't saying that, but it was just pretty obviously like just talking about dealing with like shitty stuff in Hollywood or whatever. Right? It's from a long time ago. And I saw that going around. And then there's like all these memes of like as if it's like it's like the AI knows what you've seen and what you haven't seen. So it can put something else up that seems unrelated, but knows that you are aware of this point. And then so it connects that. Your mind connects it. It's where it's like you'll see some thumbnail of like Mel Gibson and the Sound of Freedom, and he's got nothing to do with it. And it's like, no, he was making a documentary or something, and then that didn't happen, and or whatever. And my theory is that going back to that thing you're referencing, remember back when he was like super in trouble for being anti-Semitic because he got drunk and was talking about Jews or something, or
Yeah.
I don't even know what actually happened, but that was the whole thing. He was painted that way, right?
Yeah.
I think because of that, all the conservatives are like, oh, he's one of us. So now they're like assuming he's totally on board with all of like the Sound of Freedom stuff.
Right.
Yeah, my books are just not moved down Jess was asking in the chat. It's just it's a new office, so
Is
all
it a
that
new
has-
office for the lighting? Because your lighting looks better.
it does look better. It's not for that purpose, but that is why I had them put the books this way or the shelves this way. So I just have to bring everything down.
Nice. No, I was going to make mention of, okay, so I did not see The Sound of Freedom, but I hear that the opening scene, or in the first 5 minutes of the movie, is somebody goes to this person's home and they are a recruiter, and they're like, hey, we think your kid has a lot of talent and we want them to audition for this movie or whatever, and this is your big ticket. Like this could very well be the thing that gets you out of poverty, essentially, right? And because of that, the parents go along with it. The dad goes along with it, and he's like, yeah, okay, cool. Takes him to the audition, and they say, oh, just leave him here, come back at this time. And because there's a whole room full of kids, and the guy's like, okay, because he wants to trust this is his opportunity, and just looking at that, it's like, okay, isn't that the point? Right? The whole reason why this could even happen is because we have poverty,
Yes,
right? Like,
Yeah.
that's
if
it.
if that didn't exist,
That's the fucking problem that needs to be solved.
right?
Instead
Right.
of you, because you could go after child traffickers all fucking day.
So you're blue in the
24/7.
face. It's like the war.
There's only
it's
going to
like
be more.
the
That's
war
what-
on drugs.
I was just thinking that in
You're
terms
not-
of like hackers. It's like
Yeah.
they're always one step ahead of like the actual legitimate security system.
I do think though, if more people were supported at a young age with an effective education, there would be less people that grow up to be pedophiles. There would be less people that would grow up and want
Yeah.
to traffic children.
Of
Sure.
course.
Yeah, like that's the whole point, like the education part, which comes from like how you grew up. All of this
Right.
stuff wouldn't exist. The abuse wouldn't exist. The pedophile, you know what I mean? The people that are because
Yeah,
the
and
people that
and
are
it-
pedophiles are the ones getting abused a lot of the times as children.
Right.
So then they just play out their abuse in someone else, whether it be like their own
Yeah.
child or like someone else's child.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like it's very obvious to me that the solution is education on all fronts, the poverty, the abuse, everything. And if you just think that you're going to go and target the pedophiles without any form of education for the general populace or the people themselves, it's like saying,
It's going to leave the door open for it to happen.
Well,
again.
with an effective education, that guy wouldn't have been in a poverty situation
Yeah.
to put the
Yeah.
kid there. And he would have also had the obvious common sense of like, why am I going to leave my child here? But then obviously he's doing it for the hope of money. So that overrides,
Logic.
even if he had that moment of common sense.
leaving.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
Look at that. Look at that grand smile.
Still in his sleeping bag.
He's in a sleeping bag.
Yeah. He still has a little sleeping bag.
Oh, that's cool.
We all have them.
Do you
It's
guys
like-
ever do like
I wish
sack
I had a
races?
sleeping bag.
Do you ever do what?
Sack races? Like you
Yeah.
put on your
Sack
sleeping
race.
bags and like run like
Hilarious.
Okay, this week update. Aristotle started with no support, no holding on to anything, standing up.
nice.
Right.
It
How old
was
is
so
he?
cool.
How old is he now?
He's 10 months and 2 weeks.
Wow.
Dang boy.
Big boy.
Is he eating greens?
He
Oh,
loves
pulled the
greens.
Thing off of
Greens?
Any greens.
Really?
Anything green.
Yeah.
He will eat it.
If it's a leaf or I've had to identify a lot of plants to make sure it's okay that he's eating them.
Yeah, that's cool.
Caius likes to get cat food out of the cat's dish.
Yeah. Aristotle does the same with the dog food. So I have to like separate it to make sure he doesn't get
He
back.
came in one side and he's like, he came inside one time and he was looking at me and I could see he had some in his mouth. I'm like, what's in your mouth? And he goes, and it's just like piece of cat food. Not the wet stuff. Okay, come on.
Hilarious. I like how it's like not the wet stuff, as if the dry stuff's better.
Oh.
It's like
I've done-
cereal.
No,
No,
thanks.
it happened one time. Okay.
Pius is so funny.
Yeah, he's such a farm kid, like
That's
just
great.
running
100%.
around.
Yeah.
Super cute.
All right, guys. It's 11:30. Are you
Yes.
done?
Yeah, we're done. We're done.
Yeah,
There we go.
that's
We'll
fine.
see you on the next
Talked
one.
about some heavy stuff today, man. Bucky's.
Buc-ee's. Oof.
Barbie.
If you take anything away from this, it's the Bucky's point, all right?
Yeah,
Forget about all the other stuff.
yeah,
Don't think about it.
yeah.
All right.
All right, everybody. See you next
Thanks,
week.
guys.
Bye.
All right, bye.